everybody, welcome to Home Healing of My Emotions by Hadassah, where we fix what home broke and we believe that healing is possible. On today's topic, we are continuing with the subject of soul care, and so far we have tackled the aspect of soul wounds and how soul wounds manifest themselves in both immoral and unproductive activities. And I shared with us an exercise that was to help us expose some of the areas in our lives that were not met emotionally, and to see how they have affected our future, our adult life, and also our childhood as we were growing up. Now, I know that exercise brought up mixed emotions. Maybe it was sad emotions. You felt like you were deprived of something that you actually needed, that you legitimately required. I know it brought up emotions, and that was the essence of it, to bring out such kind of emotions. Maybe you got upset, maybe you got mad at people who did not give you the things that you needed when you were just innocent and you could not fend for yourself. It is important for us to expose those feelings and to be honest and to be genuine, because what happens is that we are setting a boundary. We are not trying to say that healing will happen overnight, but we are setting boundaries so that healing can take place. So if you have maybe identified that you are a people pleaser, now you'll set a boundary for yourself as you heal from the damage that people pleasing has caused you over the years. So here, the reason as to why we did that exercise was essentially to place boundaries so that we don't keep relapsing. You're healing, but then you're continuing with the self-sabotaging behaviors and traits. And one character in the Bible by the name David was one person who was very raw and real with his emotions. God calls him the man after his own heart. But if you read some of the Psalms that David wrote, they were so brutally honest. There is a place in the Bible where David says, I wish that his wife becomes a widow. I wish that their children become fatherless. It's not like the Bible is condoning for us to make such kind of prayers, but it is just to show us how he was honest about his emotions to God, because he knew that he was talking to someone who is non-judgmental. He was talking to a God who is omnipresent, who knows your thoughts from afar, who knows you as a person. And the moment we are real and we expose and we bring to the altar, only then will God bring the fire and consume it. Therefore, I hope we were real. I hope we were truthful with that exercise. And just ask yourself, what really made you mad about that exercise? What did you wish you were given more of? What made you feel anger that you are not given, that you had to go through that? What is that thing that made you feel this was so unfair? So, after we have established what needs were met, and to some degree, most of our parents met our needs. We don't want to say that they did not do a good job. Did they try? Yes. Did they give us everything we wanted? No. But did they really try? Of course they did. Were they perfect? No, they were not perfect. But did they try to raise us and to at least give us a decent life? They did. We cannot afford to just throw all of what they did over the roof just because of what they did to us that brought some damage and some brokenness. So, for those people whose needs were met to some degree, then we need to give our guardians, our parents, our relatives some grace, because no one is perfect and no one will ever perfectly give us what we need. So for them, we got to give them grace. We got to say, I know maybe you had your battles, you tried your best, you tried to be the best mom you could be, you tried to be the best dad you could be, you fell short at some point, but at least I saw the effort. So for those kind of people, we are going to give them grace. But for those who are handled unjustly, those who are handled wrongfully, sinfully, unfairly, and the degree to which the heart was broken, the soul was damaged, is bad. Then for those people, we have to walk through an exercise that is called biblical forgiveness. I learned the difference between that. A mentor of mine told me that what people call forgiveness is not actual forgiveness. And he taught me about walking in biblical forgiveness. And in the words of Denise Boggs, you can look her up. She runs a healing ministry known as Living Waters Ministry. She says that forgiveness is to pardon. Oh, this is close to my heart because I had to do it. I had to go through this. And forgiveness is to pardon. And you say that I accept the blood of Jesus as full and satisfactory for what they did to me. They owe me nothing. You just let that person go. You tell them, even if you wrote me nice letters trying to apologize, you cannot undo what you did to me. Even if you brought me flowers, they cannot give me back the bad days I had. It cannot give me back the momentum it cost me, the anxiety I had, the pain I went through, the days, the years that you took from me. You cannot repay me. You owe me nothing. I accept the blood of Jesus as full and satisfactory for what you did. And when you forgive someone, it does not mean that they are... And when you forgive someone, it does not mean reconciliation. Maybe on a separate video, we'll talk about what forgiveness is not. Because sometimes it is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is for you. You refuse to be incarcerated by somebody else's behavior, dysfunction, immaturity, and insensitivity. You release them. You release them, and you choose not to be bound by that pain and by their actions. And it's my prayer today that some of us are going to forgive people who have not even given us an apology. That is the most difficult thing to do. Sometimes we just wish that they acknowledged what they did. It could have lessened the pain. But some are not coming back to give you that. They're not coming back to give you that apology. They are not. And if you wait for you to heal until they apologize, then you're holding hostage your healing to another at the expense of somebody else's growth. They might never grow. They might never realize that they hurt you. They might never realize that they broke your heart. And so you got to give yourself closure. Give yourself closure. How they treated you, how they handled you, that was your closure. And you release them. And you accept the blood of Jesus as full and satisfactory payment for what they did. You get convinced in your heart that what they did is not sovereign. Because if you believe that somebody else's dysfunction will stop your life, then you are glorifying and magnifying their dysfunction. But we know and we believe in a God who takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it around and gives something good. And so after this episode, I hope and pray that if there are people that you are carrying in your heart, and even yourself, if you condemn and you blame yourself, I'd like you to accept the blood of Jesus as full and satisfactory payment for what was done to you. To know that what they did cannot stop you. It cannot limit you, because God is sovereign and God has the last say. God has the last say. That pain, that shame, that injury does not have the last say. That person's dysfunction does not have the last say. God is sovereign, and He promises in His word that He gives beauty for ashes. He promises to give a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. He promises to give a peace that transcends human understanding. He promises to give peace and joy unspeakable, full of glory, and that is our portion. And so, I pray that we are going to give people grace. We are going to look back and forgive our parents, our guardians, people who did not really take care of us as we deserved. And we are also going to walk in biblical forgiveness for the people who wrongfully, unjustly mishandled us, and they brought too much damage in our lives. We are putting our head high, and we are very convinced that Jesus is willing to heal us and to restore us, and He alone